Wow, it is heartbreaking to watch this.
This is some of the most clutch endgame chess I've ever seen in my life. It's Norway chess, final round. There they are, the two big fat losers battling it out for last place. The wooden spoon. Who'd have thought that that's world number one, Magnus Carlsen, and world champion Gukesh D, a guy who's dropped to now 26th in the world in the rankings. He's struggling, they're both struggling this tournament, but this was a classic. Magnus kicked off with the King Prawn, best by test, and Gukesh goes for the Caro Can. Will it be a Caro Can or Caro Can't? We'll see. Magnus doesn't take the centre, he plays this push here. It's the accelerated Panov attack. We're gonna see what happens. Takes, and white has landed themselves with an isolated queen's pawn. You must learn to play with it unless you're a complete wuss. It gives open lines for your pieces, we're gonna see, but now some opening subtlety, nuance. If you play pawn d4 here, it allows this annoying move. So Magnus plays bishop b5. And now if you go for this bishop g4 action, not played, board grayed out, we're in the back cave, you can stream out with the queen, hit that bishop and pile on the pressure here. Say you take, well then you take here with check, a little in-betweener, and after the queen blocks, the rook drops. It's awful, you're an entire rook down at the end of the line. No good. This move's no good. That's why pawn e6, and this poor guy is crying in this structure. Don't get me wrong, black's solid, but Magnus has got that teeny weeny bit more space. He's got free flowing pieces now, open lines for the rooks, outposts for the knights, bishops firing, that one now looking at the king. This is the compensation for the slightly weakened pawn structure. And how about this? Magnus takes. He knows exactly what he's doing, because you won't believe this. There's some drama to come here. Do we see takes on d4? No. This is the rough idea. Something like this. There's a couple different lines, but this seems the most likely. Open the king. Black now with the weak pawn. Bishops aren't enough to compensate. And if you take here, well, now you've spearheaded a white attack using that pawn one day potentially. Nice lines for the queens and the bishops. Not ideal. Imagine a rook lift or something. So we didn't see any of these moves. We saw this. Bishop f4. Magnus has finally got his bits out. Always do it down the chess club. g6 blunts the bishop. Stops the queen from sliding out. And after queen b3, hitting the pawn. Don't take in the centre. This exchange is actually better for Magnus. We see knight a5 hitting the queen, defending the pawn. Queen b4 pressures the knight. Queen's overloaded, trying to defend this and this, because think this, therefore this. And in this position, move 16, we've reached Magnus Carlsen versus Jan Smeets 2009 chorus tournament. Wow, Magnus had this position 17 years ago. Gukesh was 3 years old. In that game, quickly going to show you it, Magnus went bishop h6, and he went on to crush Jan in about 12 more moves in this kind of Alpha Zero style before Alpha Zero was even a thing. Throw in the pawns, here we saw resigns, because there's so much pressure everywhere, pawns collapsing, it's craziness, it's awful. Pause if you want to work out why it's lost. These ideas in the air too. So that was that. In this game, no bishop h6, but rook a d1. Now it doesn't fight for the open file, but it does keep pieces on the board, overprotects that pawn in some lines, or you open the rook if that knight were ever taken. Bishop covers this invasion square, white's all good, standing a bit better, rook e8's played, h3's tidy. Now we see bishop e7, don't Botez gambit your queen, and now finally Gukesh gets his one into the game. Not really attacking this pawn, because the queen's got to stay with the knight. Magnus should now go bishop b5, most precise move, follow it up with b3. But he starts with knight d7, gives the question mark from the all-powerful engine. You lose a bit of advantage. Gukesh could now defend that pawn directly, but he brings the knight back here, allows his central pawn to drop because this is his point. He's going to kick your queen away and then win back the pawn cleanly. You can actually take here, because once the queen takes, it's hitting a loose bishop, which gives an important tempo. Black's doing okay. Bit worse, but doing okay. Bishop f6, however, was played. Queen takes. Pawn recaptures. Nasty structure. Bishop e4 from Magnus. Look at these laser beam snipers. Beautiful. Yes, the pawn's collapsing. Takes, takes. But Gukesh now does not take with the bishop. This was his best way. Magnus can either defend or counter with the rook, give the pawn, but get active, hit here. There is a defense with rook e7. The line goes something like this, and white remains a bit better. Level material, but you got the bishops, open board, king can rush in quite quickly. Let's compare that to the game. Gukesh takes like this, and now it allows takes. Really similar looking line, and Gukesh gets the invasion going. Hurrah! But bishop h6 from Magnus. That's why this line is a lot worse than the other one we looked at. Now hands up if you're playing bishop g7 here to fight against the threat of rook e8 check. You just lost the game, because now you have to block like this and you get mated. So that doesn't work. Knight e6 is therefore the move to shut down the e-file. Rook c1 is played. Magnus forcing the rooks off. Kind of. You can take actually. Top line of the all-powerful Sir Stockness monster. Knight d8 is the way to not get mated. Bishop d5 is a line. It all rumbles on here. White stands better. But, okay. Black's in the game. Yeah, you've got to break them down. It's not easy. But it looks good for white. Horrible king. Not played. No takes on b2. Gukesh goes for the exchange. Engine hates it. But watch what happens here. Bishop is attacked. Slides into d5. Knight a4 hits a pawn. b3 is of course the knee-jerk response. But then knight c3 picks up a tempo on the bishop that backs up. And then you take the pawn here. Sorry, not yet. First flicking b5. Then take the pawn. And because you're on this bishop, white's got no time to take. Bishop moves, knight back, cover the pawn. Black's doing fine here. So that's why Magnus didn't go b3. He rushes in with the king here. Knight takes on b2, king e2, king f8. He's activating the pieces very quickly. This is where the bishops shine. And after king e7, have a look at Magnus's clock after king d2. Bro just went under a minute. It's move 35. So he's got to make 5 more moves in 60 seconds. No time back per move. And then when he gets to move 40, he just gets 10 seconds a move. This is absolutely astonishing. He's playing bullet chess in a complicated endgame. Watch what he does here. I've never seen anything like it on this kind of time. Bishop e5 now played. Bishop b3 hits a knight. It moves with check. King c4. Is this any good? No. You're going to drop this pawn one way or another. And the b pawn's just too much. These are not opposite coloured bishops. You are not in draw territory here. So Gukesh plays this f pawn forward. In marches the king. f4. Magnus backs up with the bishop. He's not showing ultra precision on every move, but how is that even possible when you're down to seconds per move? He's playing great still. He's in control. He's got this incredible passed outside pawn. He drops this one, yes, but he's got it all under control. Bishop centralizing, check, king back, pawn g5, and this is just all-star. I mean, I would be playing in a heartbeat pawn a4. Just looks the move. Run your outside passer. But then black starts getting some counterplay. Bishop e3 kind of stuff. h5 coming soon. So Magnus didn't push the pawn. He just understands this stuff. He's the final boss of the endgame. He plays king c4, steps away from the promotion of the pawn, supporting it, to hit a bishop, which then moves into b6, and then again, he understands the only move to keep it +3, everything else is below +1. Bishop f3, to stop pawn h5, to stop the counterplay. This is the Magnus Carlsen we know and love. This is the Magnus Carlsen that sings on hilltops, dressed as a goat, unreal scenes. Now we see knight g3. Does he push the pawn yet? Yes, he finally does. Absolutely incredible play. a5's on the board. The bishop moves. King d5 now. And just like that, in this couple of moves here, he's proper rug pulled Gukesh d. Looked like he was headed this way. This was the only plan in mind. No. Suddenly the king's spinning round here. h5's played. Bishop c3. Now we see king b7. This one slides in to hit the pawn. We see the whole point of this maneuver. We get g4. Takes. That's a lost pawn. You couldn't hold on to it. The piece is too powerfully placed for white. Black's forces uncoordinated here. Knight f1's on the board. And because of where that knight's just gone, Magnus unleashes a devilishly tricky trap here. Low on time. What a guy. a6 check. Stop it. If you saw that one, fair play. This is the follow-up. Check, win the knight. And that's a one endgame. It's why you cannot take the pawn. So the king just sidesteps. Now bishop e2 anyway. If knight g3, bishop d3. So this was tried. We see check, swapping off that bishop. And this is just a clean technical win, provided you take this pawn in the right way. Would you have taken like that? You need to have a good look at yourself if so. Takes would be played. And this is a draw. Can't checkmate with a bishop and king. So let's run back. This was played, of course, by Magnus. Yes, the a-pawn drops, but now the bishop centralizes, dominates the knight. The g-pawn's running away. The knight tries to spin round, but it's too little, too late. Bishop f3 and Gukesh resigns the game. If you blockade the pawn, you step in with the king. Yes, the knight still has a square, but you can step over, hit it. Let's say it steps back, looking for that repetition. Well, now you go bishop g4. Take away all of its squares here, and the king just can't step in. It's completely shouldered out. So you can step up, but now we step in, win the knight. It drops off the board, and you get a line that goes something like this. We'll take it through to checkmate. Why not? Really simple mating pattern on the board there. If you want to learn this stuff, do go over to Lotus Chess. This is how you checkmate the king, of course. Let's back it up to the final position. Move 65. Truly incredible endgame. What happened in the tournament? Pragnananda stormed through from out of nowhere, clutched up, won 4 classical games in a row, took the entire event, winning today against Vincent. I'll have to cover that one. Just a bonkers tournament. Really enjoyed it. Poor Gukesh. Must be one of the worst performances ever of a reigning world champion. 5 classical losses, I think it was. Wow, that has got to hurt. Poor guy. Just turned 20. Hope he can pick it up ahead of the World Chess Championship match later this year. Thanks very much for watching. All your support this tournament, hugely appreciated. Special shout out and thank you to all the channel members. Really appreciated. Hope to see you again in a future video, and have a look at the one on screen if you want some more epic chess. Cheers.